Hello, everyone. Dr. Sarah Donovan here. Today, talking about interactive read alouds with picture books for secondary classrooms, so grades 6 through 12, but I'm mostly going to be thinking about 9 through 12 today. The first step in thinking about interactive read alouds in the high school classroom is to get familiar with some picture books and start imagining ways that this could support your students' engagement with the concept that you're talking about, thematic issues in the text that you're reading, craft moves and the things that they're writing or analyzing. And it's an accessible, sometimes more joyful, definitely unexpected ways to pique students' curiosity and sort of reinforce ideas that you want the students to pick up on in a way that's less intimidating or formal, but nevertheless more meaningful, especially thinking about the fact that adults wrote most of these picture books, and that who knows, your students might become or already are authors. And when we're talking about literature, we're not just talking about one kind of literature, but the way that literature represents ways of being in the world. And so sometimes that comes in forms of heavy text, and sometimes it comes in poetry, and sometimes it comes in videos and song, and sometimes it comes in shorter texts, things that are alongside pictures. So one of the things I want to just kind of do in this first video is just to show you how, I have a stack of picture books right here that I haven't read yet, but just to do a few things and talk you through my thinking and the possibilities I see when I pick up a picture book that you may not see. So the first one is The Journey by Francesca Sana. And I just, open up the first one and you can see right away the first page, colors, imagery, and you can talk about symbolism right away. That's what I see right away. All of this black space, and this kind of looks like reaching. I haven't even read anything yet, but already my ideas are sort of surfacing about this darkness and what this might mean for the story. So color, ways that authors use color to show theme and to show issues and symbolism, and so this craft moves right away. So this book is about what it's like to leave everything behind and travel to somewhere unfamiliar and strange. So think about any books or stories, central texts in the canonical literature that you might have a main character who has to travel many miles to somewhere unfamiliar or strange. And the first thing I think about are all the stories related to war and displaced people and refugees. I'm thinking about the Holocaust. I'm thinking about any of the World War II stories and texts as well. And then it's also about a mother and her two children set out on a journey. So do you know any books where the main character goes on a journey, like a hero's journey? One filled with fear of the unknown, but also of great hope, based on our own interactions with people forced to seek a new home and told from the perspective of a young child. So perspective and biography. Francesca Sana has created a beautiful and sensitive book that's full of significance. So just thinking about how, like, as a teacher, how could I use a different sort of text to show theme, to show author's craft? And you can see right away, this has like a lot of potential. And I can see having a few books that have similar themes about a journey or about moving to an unfamiliar place, having students think about this. And then you can always take this shared text and connect it to the central text that you're reading, or students can be making comparison among several texts. And this is a great way to look at that standard where you're comparing author's point of view and perspective on a similar theme. So I can see how this picture book would very easily work with that. Let's see. Oh, I know this one actually. And I was just thinking about how these two could actually pair very nicely together. So this is Dreamers by Yui Morales. It's really beautiful and such so love, what's amazing illustration here. Like these illustrations are really awesome. It's a kind of a collage illustration. So just on the front page, because maybe you will or won't read everything. What if you dreamed of a new life and it came to you? What if the new life led you to a new country where no one spoke your language, where you felt alone and ignored? What if you had to make that new place your home? What if you found out that home in a world? What if you found that home in a world of books? And what if it all were true? Okay, so this is, well, you can see just from the image, a mother and child. So this is a mother and their two children moving. I can see even just these two books offering a really interesting comparison of the journey and the reasons why people leave the home that they love, and what it's like from a mother's perspective, a child's perspective, how the images are different or similar. Like these two books could you actually be combined for some intertextual analysis as well. So if you're teaching analytic skills, if you're teaching about themes, if you're thinking about characters, if you're thinking about age, gender, both these books would be really great and accessible ways to present that new information to your students and have them sort of unpack it a little bit. So imagine just having several of these, your students kind of sitting around reading the books aloud, has a lot of potential, right? So one of the things about using interactive read alouds or using picture books in the high school setting is to pull some of these and start looking at them and imagining how they might add some new layers of conversation to your classroom. So that's kind of step one, is to start picking up some picture books and seeing the potential. And even both of these are quite, I haven't even read them all the way through. This one I have it. They're really sophisticated in their thinking and what's happening, even though the language on the page might seem really basic in some ways, but this one is actually written in a very poetic way. I dreamed of you, then you appeared, together we became resplendent life, you and I. Even that word resplendent, is that a book that you only see in children? Is that a word you only see in children's books? No, it's like, that's a quite sophisticated vocabulary word. So you see there's potential in these. And I think, so that's the first step, is picking up some picture books and looking for the potential and really imagining how these might add some more interesting intertextual components to your classroom. So that's step one.